Yeah, I was watching this earlier today. Shohei had the early start time in New York against the Yankees, and if you remember, his last start in the Bronx didn't go well. He didn't get out of the first inning, gave up a bunch of runs, and it just didn't go well. Today was his first start back in the Bronx against the Yankees since that start last year. This time he threw 3 innings and gave up 8 hits, 4 earned runs. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty again in New York City. And, the good news here is last time Shohei bounced back beautifully from facing the Yankees and it not going well, and it propelled him into the rest of his year. But I'm hopeful it happens again. But look, let's just be honest. Let's call it what it is. Today's start didn't go well, and that's now a couple starts in a row that Shohei hasn't thrown great. But here's what I tweeted today, and this is a lot of what I wanted to talk about. I think the Yankees might have something on Shohei Ohtani. Shohei has the highest chase percentage of any pitcher. Today, they aren't budging or swinging and missing at much. This isn't a Yankees are cheating accusation. The Yankees may have picked up something that Shohei is tipping. Now, yes, Shohei was not sharp today. That's a fact. He wasn't sharp. But we have seen him throughout this season not have his best stuff and end up figuring it out and going 6 innings and giving up 2 earned runs and still striking out a lot of guys. You know why? Because he has the elite stuff that he does. He throws 101 with a nasty splitter and a wipeout slider. That's good enough to get guys out even when you aren't pinpointing pitches. Now, this is what I want to talk about. The New York Yankees are one of the best offenses in the game of baseball. No doubt about that in my mind. I just think that they have something on Shohei. Yes, he wasn't super sharp today. Also true. He has the highest chase percentage of any pitcher in all of Major League Baseball. And today he only got 3 swings and misses on 42 swings. Now, yes, maybe it wasn't pinpoint accuracy, but Shohei was out there throwing 100 miles an hour. I don't care if it's in a perfect location. If somebody's throwing 100, you're going to see more swings and misses than just 3 out of 42 swings. That's just a fact. Offenses work tirelessly on trying to get an edge on pitchers, trying to figure out if they can see anything that a pitcher is doing to tip pitches. Now let's walk through this because I played professional baseball and we would have hours worth of looking at video of starting pitchers and trying to pick up on something that they would do. This is just a fact. The majority of Major League Baseball pitchers are still tipping pitches. They just don't know they're doing it. So people hear, oh, somebody says he's tipping. Oh, no way. The majority of the time it actually is happening. Okay, so yes, teams hit really well against certain pitchers. That's true. Sometimes hitters just fare well against pitchers. Sometimes they see the ball well out of guys' hands, and next thing you know, that pitcher struggles against teams. But also true, sometimes teams just have something on a pitcher. And I was watching today, and Shohei could throw a 100-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone, not getting swung at. A slider that wipes away out into the dirt, not even a budge, not even a little bit of a swing. That right there, when you're watching any game, is a telltale sign that maybe they have something. So the things you look for when we would prep for pitchers, it can be anything. Sometimes pitchers flare their glove open when they go to switch to off speed. Sometimes their facial expressions. Sometimes how high they lift their leg. Sometimes whether they're sticking their tongue out at a certain point or not. There are a million different telltale signs that you can pick up from a pitcher. And the pitcher doesn't even realize that he's doing it, or else he'd fix it. But it is absolutely a thing that happens often. And I was watching that game, Shohei Ohtani pitching in New York against the Yankees again. That Yankees lineup is incredible. They also weren't budging on a lot of pitches. The first at bat of the game, 11 pitches to Matt Carpenter that ended with a home run. He seemed to be on everything, fouling off the tough pitches, then hitting a good one the good one to get a long, long way. So it is very much so a thing that happens in the game of baseball, and it's just something that I wanted to acknowledge and say that, hey, maybe this is happening. And it's not a knock on anybody. It's not an accusation of the Yankees are cheating. No, you know what it is? It's a compliment to the New York Yankees because they are the best. They have a great lineup. They have a great pitching staff, and they are one of the best teams at picking up stuff from pitchers. And I just thought it looked like that again today in New York City. So Shohei needs to figure that out. He needs to figure it out, if it was happening, a way to figure out his telltale sign of what he's tipping.
Yeah, and we're talking about tipping pitches here, but I think a big thing, a part of this too, would be the fatigue factor. Now, do you think fatigue is starting to really kind of creep into this? I know it's one of those things that Joe Madden kind of talked about previously in the year, but it just seems like he has been pitching up to his capabilities.
Yeah, his last couple of starts haven't been great. The velocity is certainly still there. It's been, the command that we saw from Shohei in his dominant starts. When he's commanding his electric stuff, he's truly unhittable. When he's not commanding it great, he's still been adequate. He's still, like, his start against the Blue Jays wasn't terrible. He gave up a couple of long balls, but he was still able to get some outs. Now today it just looked a little bit different, but he was still throwing 101 miles an hour. But just the at-bats that guys were having off of him, it started with the Matt Carpenter at-bat and some other at-bats where when he would throw pitches in a great location, guys weren't budging. And take it from me firsthand, when a guy's throwing 100 miles an hour and then throws you a slider and you can just take it looking like this and not even budging, typically you have something on a guy. And that's kudos to the lineup, the coaching staff, to somebody for figuring that telltale sign out. Now, I will also say, yes, he hasn't been as sharp as he could be lately. He just hasn't. So whether that's fatigue, and I think Joe Madden came out recently and said, yeah, Shohei, we might give him a day of rest here at some point, and Shohei, he's not going to want to come out of the lineup. He's going to want to keep doing his thing, and he's still out there throwing 101 miles an hour. But a lot of times when there is fatigue that steps in, it is command that starts to go first. But his stuff still looks good. I feel fine that he's going to turn this around. And last time we saw him in New York against the Yankees, he turned it around and had an incredible rest of the year on the mound. And I have no doubts he's going to do that. Shohei has an innate ability to have a tough start, look in the mirror, fix it, and go out and do great in his next start.
I know it's amazing, and it's what makes Shohei Ohtani, where he pitches and hits in the same day. Do you think that to get back on the right track, that it would maybe help Ohtani if he just had to focus for one single day on just pitching? Out of the lineup, just focusing on pitching during his starts for a little while?
I truly don't believe so. And the reason I say that is because that's what they tried earlier in his career, but it was more to save, to protect him against getting injured. But we saw it last year when he was able to start doing this. He thrives. This is what he should be doing. He loves playing like this. He loves pitching and he loves hitting at the same time, and he has proven that he's good enough to keep doing it. So I don't think like taking him out of the lineup one day when he's pitching and just allowing him to focus on pitching is the answer, because he's proven that he can do this. So I just don't see a world in which that would be the case. I think that would more so be a sign of like, hey, you're struggling. Let's allow you to do this. I don't think he wants that. I don't think he needs that. And I think he's going to be just fine. Look, the Yankees have something on him. And if they don't, then he has just struggled a couple times in New York against the Yankees at Yankee Stadium. But guess what? He's going to go on a tear from here. I truly believe that.
Thanks for watching. If you love Flippin Bats, swinging 3-0, or just talking ball, join us. Call us at 213-537-9339 with your questions. We have a weekly guest, and we have a lot of fun, so hit that subscribe button.